good morning, good morning. Oh, it's been so long. This is Jolene with A Jewel Design, and we are here with a digital reveal. It feels like it's been forever, and it has been. Here we are, literally at the end of August. And I did get a kit out for you guys. Not quite what I was expecting. I was trying to go for a woodland critter, frolic through the woods, coming into fall ordeal, and it wouldn't come out. Sometimes, as an artist, you're just like, I have to go with my gut. I have to go with the flow. And when I went to go to design it, I had two different ideas in my head, and they were going to mesh really badly. And I was like, no, let's pick a direction. But when I went to go pick a direction, I didn't find what I was looking for. But what I did have was some absolutely gorgeous photos from my girls. My youngest has gone crazy with taking my phone and taking pictures. And the pictures, though she's been taking them since like mid-July, up through our trip, our camping trip. The pictures she's taking lend to fall colors. Isn't that awesome? Though there's a lot of green, okay, still going on. She picked up these raspberry maroons and bright oranges, right? Gorgeous greens, texture of all sorts. And so I decided instead that I was going to make a Falling into Autumn 5x7 photo art lookbook journal kit for you guys. So it's very much like my 50 Shades of Purple, where it's more photographs than vintage digital elements or items. There's a few little things that I've picked up, out of the graphic fairies or heritage websites that I use, but the majority of it is just photographs, and they're gorgeous photographs, and they lend to fall, but done in summer. And really, when I'm showing you this kit, we are 20 days away officially from fall. So let's fall into autumn, enjoy the last of our summer, and make this cute, gorgeous photo book where, because of the background pictures that I give you, for background papers, you can still journal on it. You can still do your things with a small set of ephemera to go with it. Okay? So, and then of course, and a set of assembly pieces that I did. So as I mentioned, this is going to be called Falling into Autumn. It's a 5x7 photo art lookbook journal kit. There is 14 pages of papers, 8 pages of ephemera, and 2 background pages to use to print on the back of both sets. So you can decide how you want to back these. They're both light, they're both creams, to make it easy for writing, easy for layering, and simply put together a book that you could do nothing to and just look at it, or go 50-50 and make it very colorful, and it's just something to flip through, to put on your coffee table, to put on your piano, to send to a friend who maybe doesn't have these colors. I'm in California, and we do everything we can to see fall, but we don't really get always fall. Fall leaves are really hard to find, where we see all the trees change color. Some do, some don't. Sometimes most of them are green and then they're dead. Others are stay evergreens forever, and we never see the orange on it. And somewhere in between, if we're lucky enough to have a tree that does change to, yellow and orange, we're all excited. Normally, too, in California, we go from summer, which is okay, to Indian summer, which is super hot. And then, bam, at the last second, we have fall before we go into winter. So it's one of those weird things. So this year, I think we actually have the possibility, fingers crossed, of an honest-to-God fall before we get into, hopefully, a very wet winter. So we'll cross our fingers. So here we go. Your first page of the kit is very much a collage of some of my favorite elements within the whole book. It can be used as a cover. It can be used as the middle of a signature. It can be cut up into pieces and used as more decorations. But we have little bits of bunny and a deer because those guys are still hopping around. They're still out in the forest. They're gathering foods, enjoying the last of the summer delicacies before they have to go and hide and hibernate. Now, California, I don't think most of our animals hibernate, but they do try to stock up and stay out of the weather the best they can. Then we pull into the actual 5x7s. When fully printed and cut into one piece, it's 5x10. Or 7x10. That's 5, that's 10. There we go. So it's 7 inches tall. It's a little smaller than a normal book. A normal book is usually 9 tall. Our cover is 9 tall by 6 deep. So you can still do a 9x6 on this, but you're going to have a lot of gap on the top and bottom, about 1 full inch of your cover with these little pages inside. So I would definitely suggest making your book a little bit smaller, cover-wise, maybe more like 8 inches instead of 9. And you could still go to the 6 because when these are all folded, things start popping out a little bit. So you go with 8 by 6 or 8 by 5.5 for a cover in this beautiful 5 by 7 piece of paper. So when you fold it, look at that. There's your first side, there's your back side. Now, everything I used in these guys, except for the bunny and the deer, and I think one set of leaves, even the elements that are layered are photographs that myself or my daughters have taken. Most of these are done by my 10-year-old. There's a few elements that are done by me, and a couple that are done by my 15-year-old. So it's definitely a work of art for me and my girls. Most of it has a focal point. A lot of it then faded artistically. There's a blur to the background. The photos may have a little bit more of an impressionist or watercolor look or effect. And some of it was by chance. Others, I really tried not to enhance anything or mess with anything. I really wanted to leave it in its natural state of the artist. So you're going to have fuzzy things. You're going to have sharp things. You're going to have things that seemed very, not so much pixelated, but very much, I feel like an impressionist watercolor feel. And you notice that mostly in the green evergreen pictures of the redwood forest, those have a different feel to the photo. Even though it is a photo that was taken with my phone and no filter was put on it, it just picked up such an interesting effect. But anything on top, I tried to make sure it was really clear and was picked up from other autumn photos that I had taken. Now, on the back of each one, I suggest putting this lovely lace photo. It was a lace scan, actually, of a tablecloth that I had in my possession. I believe that it came from either my husband's mom's side of the family or from one of my grandmothers. I have some stuff and I never remember where it came from. I don't have a lot of it. So tend to why it came from my husband's side of the family. Because I'm still to inherit everything coming from my mom and dad's side of the family. So it is a lace background. Prints a little light depending on your printer, but it's perfect to back each page so that you can layer your belly bands, your pockets, because the pockets and the belly bands, the flags, the tabs, all of it has a lot of color. So it allows you to layer the color up or make just enough pockets to put your journal cards in for writing. And even if you wanted to, you could write straight over this with a nice good black pen or brown felt tip pen or whatever necessary. So each page I backed with lace for an easy journaling layering capability because I'm not going to want to put much on top of the actual photographed papers. Again, sharp in the front, faded to the back, but the colors in here are they're yummy. They just are. It is a little more dull. It shows just what happens as we go from summer to fall before we really see all the bright colors of fall, before those pass out and aren't existing anymore. So this is a weird time of the year where we see the hints of fall. We still feel like summer, but it's not quite to the full potential of those bright pops of color. But I try to make sure we added those in where we could. Now the first 4 or 5 pages are layered. It is the photograph with some graphics or elements of other photos layered on top. So maybe you get that crisper look of these guys in where it's faded and not faded, but where it's sort of blurry in the background for a portrait effect. The elements on top are definitely more focused for layering. So in here I had some graphics of some leaves that I really wanted to try to bring some orange into, and these cute little mushroom pieces, which almost blend in. But this is one of those cool things where my daughter literally looked straight up with the camera and took a photo. And without me doing anything, these are leaves or I don't know what they are, but the way they dripped down, it gave it very much a weird but awesome artistic effect. And to me, the greenery of the photos, the green photos, these tree photos that we took, definitely took on more of a watercolor acrylic paint look. And it wasn't the intention, but that's just how the photos was taken. And I love it. I think they're absolutely adorable. Or adorable. I mean, I think it's adorable that my daughters took them and they just came out so well. And I could not help but not make a kit out of them. Now, this was a plant that was actually dying, right? But it's such a gorgeous cream color that I couldn't help it. And the fact that the dirt had this grayish charcoal was a nice contrast. So we utilized it. We did a little bit of shadowing and some watercoloring effects in the corners to make it a little bit more detailed, a little bit more decorated. But this is one of those where you could add layers of color to it to make this pop and or the ephemera on top. Then after those first, I think it says 5 pictures of sort of decorated layers. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, just 4 pages plus the collage paper. Then I just simply gave you the two pages without any enhancements, without any layers, without any extra details. You got just strictly the photographs. Now in this case, you have 3 or 4 where the photo goes all the way across, so you can fold it inward so you can see it, or you can fold it backwards and you get it front and back, depending on how you want to see it. Then others are side by side, where you get 2 different pictures so you can easily put the front and the back, left side, back, right side, or right side, back, left side, vice versa, however you want to put it, through the book. So you can decide which ones you want to put side by side once you fold them and which ones you want, opposite of each other. Again, I backed everything with the lace to make it really easy for journaling. I adore this. This was a piece of wood that we had, and she's just took the greatest textural picture of this one. And I love the vein that sort of popped out and cracked through the piece of wood. We get wood every year to burn in the fireplace, and there's always chips of bark that's left over somewhere. And it's in the yard somewhere, and she thought it was an awesome picture to take. These are our favorites. This is the truest pop of color, of course, for autumn is these orange mums. And just how bright and vibrant they are. Again, there's moments where it's very sharp and then it fades out. But that was sort of her theme, was that focus on one thing and let the rest just sort of blur into the background. So. Now this was one of mine. This was during our camp trip. It was fun. It was fun to find that I actually found in the water, in the shallow ends of the creek beds, that there were these brown and burgundy and orange leaves already dying out with, on the ground. And I was like, well, there's the color that I need, right? What a great photo. So I put it side by side. They give you this beautifully neutral, textural picture to get to your thing. We use it again because there are a couple different angles of those leaves. And this is the other picture. This again was sort of taken from afar. It was to get something that was on the tree trunk because we couldn't figure out what it was, so we were zooming in. And again, it had this light, wispy acrylic paint type of look. I wouldn't quite call it oil paints because I don't think it quite bleeds that much. But it had more of a painting effect than it did, a sharp picture. But I loved how this looked. I loved the texture of those leaves. And of course the bark. Now I did lighten this up a little bit so it wasn't too harsh compared to, say, a full color picture of it somewhere else. But the bark I used later, and it's just absolutely gorgeous, the tree trunk. So this one, again, plain. A lot of the ones that were full pages is the ones I layered, so you get both plain and decorative. So you can continue to do as you see fit. But I loved, in a couple of the things, how this purpley, maroon, purpley mauve color shows up. And I know purple is a huge color this year for fall. I went into Michael's, and it was all oranges and creams and browns, and that purpley, mauvey purple. And I was just in love because me and my 10-year-old absolutely adore purple. Oh my gosh. So then we had some more leaves, some vines, and our ivy vined flowers for summer. And these, which we saw in one of the other ones, it's almost like a white cherry blossom. And this was actually my oldest daughter. She was on campus and she was playing with those pictures. Again, that wispy, cloud-like picture. Where's it? And there's the other one. So she took them in, one she tried to do up close, one she tried to do from afar, and I just zoomed in and made the most of that picture. So I don't even know if you saw that. I keep forgetting you might not be in camera. So then again, this was one of those things where we were just taking pictures of the bark. And again, the tan bark, depending on your printer, started picking up this reddish purpley color when I went to do just a smidge of toning, because I really loved how that was highlighted. And that's how it came out. It's how the sun was hitting that hitting that chunk of leaves that gave you that pretty pink color. Now this one might be a little bit purpler on camera than you'll see on your end, because I think my ink was just slightly starting to turn, just a smidge. And so it's a little hard to tell, but on the camera or on my computer, it's very close to this. So it might be a little bit more red and a little less purple when you print it out, unless of course your ink is running out like mine was. I get another view of the brighter side of those trees when she was looking straight up to see what she could see. And then last but not least is that full picture, of our beautiful tree site and this gorgeous green. Now it is dark on this side, which allows you to add some lighter elements to it if you want. or putting lace on the end, or putting some texture on the side that may be cream, and it'll actually pop out because it's such a darker background, but still leaving you a light side to write a little note, to layer up and enjoy. So there you go. There's 14 pages plus the lace background. Okay. Those are your pages. That's your 5x7 right there. So what I would suggest is, of course, try to print all your pages minus the lace, or the lace too, and then throw them all back through to get the lace on the back. Okay. Now the lace is a smidge bigger than the 7x10 image that you do here, but just keep in mind, if you print this as actual size, make sure that when you run it back through to do the back with the lace, you also print it to actual size, or both of them fit to print, so that the lace should go beyond the border of your picture. But I wanted to show you in comparison to other journals. This is one of my bad prints. This was the one where all of a sudden I was losing my red and or yellow. I'm not sure which one I'm losing. Maybe I'm losing the yellow in this one because it's coming out more purple than it is anything else, which is so funny. I went to a look and about died really quick. I know paper cutting is terrible, but I know. There we go. And each one of these has, either the photos naturally make your, halfway mark, or I left that sort of white gridded area. Sorry. Oh, that was bad. I keep forgetting that is not as high as I think it is. That's right. We wanted a little earthquake, right? We're in California. Or they have this sort of white space of grittiness to help you line it up and where to print and where to fold it. Now, of course, my printing and cutting isn't always great. So I always hope that that line is not going to give us too much fits and the pages do fold where they need to fold. Now, because the way I cut it, this front is a little longer than the back. And in the end, when you've done folding and everything, of course, trim it to match, trim it to work. Or if you don't mind the backs and forths, because especially when you fold everything, and you get it all stuffed inside, pages come and go as they see fit anyway, right? So this is definitely smaller than my standard kit sizes. Standard kit sizes, when fit to print and barely trimmed, are definitely taller, right? I try to get as much as 8.5 by 11 on the page for you, and you're barely trimming around the edges. When this, in this case, is definitely down to our 5x7. I printed all of mine to actual size, so I know I got the full 5x7 ink and the 7x10 when it's opened up, to give you a feel of the difference, right? So it's definitely a slightly smaller journal, which is fine because autumn and autumn and winter and Christmas, they're smaller sessions, they're smaller moments of time. We don't need a big old journal. Sometimes, I mean, I love the size, don't get me wrong. Sometimes we don't need a huge journal and all that room to write. Sometimes we just want something small and pretty and easy to make, quick to put together, and to give away to a friend, to give away to a friend, or to sell in the store, right? We want to make it quick and easy. So those are the pages and the sizes, right? That's not the right color, but so except for this one, which is great to use as a cover piece, collage it as a cover piece, these guys are all going to trim down to a nice, gorgeous 5x7 with the lace as a potential on the inside back. Okay. So that's Falling into Autumn 5x7 Photo Art Lookbook Journal pages. And then in that kit is also included the ephemera. Okay. There's only about 8 pages here with 1 page, ta-da, to put on the back. Again, this is the cream page we saw, the sort of the dead plant, the dead cream plant. Though it doesn't look dead. That's the funny part. It's not brittle. It's not dry. It's really soft. But it went cream on me. It's the oddest thing. It should be a green flower or green plant, and I don't know what happened to it. I have no clue. I think the cat got to it actually, but who knows. Anyway, gorgeous coloring, great cream, something different than a standard piece of paper or coffee dye or ink dyed. And when you fold it, you are given that cream ability to hopefully write over it. Hopefully I lightened it enough for you guys to write on. But put it on the back of each one of your ephemera pages that you feel you want a journaling capability, and you're set ready to go. Or if you like this one better than the lace, flip them. Put this on the back of those pages, and put the lace, if you want it lighter, put the lace on the back of your ephemera pages, and put some of this on some of the back of your papers. Okay, they're interchangeable. It's all in the kit. Both PDFs are in the kit when you purchase it. It's easy to download, and you have the options to go back and forth. So as usual, we're starting out with I don't know what the official was. name. But it is a pocket. It has the flaps to make it thicker. It has your thumbnail in it to make it easy to pull things in and out of. I love it. Fold it, glue it to the tabs, and, you know, insert it somewhere. Glue it down. Bummer to glue all that down, but you have options. You can glue all this down and use this as a square for something else. You have your flags, which I gave you all textural for layering. I gave you some itty bitty pieces to do some decorating with. 3 tabs that definitely have greenery on them. And this time I left you a little space. So on the front side, if you wanted to write something, a little keyword on it, you could write on these. Because sometimes I notice we make these really decorative and you cannot, for the life of you, write on them. And without proper labels or sticky labels, you know, you can't see, you can't really label it if you don't want. If you want to label it, you can't. There we go. So I give you a little bit of an element. Whether you use it or not, it's up to you. Or use it as a layering option and put a little guy over it so they can see it. Then I gave you a small scalloped envelope. I went light and cream so you could layer it as much as you want with all the elements. With the labels, with a little dite, with a little fussy cuts. You could decorate it as you saw fit with a nice, clean, simple, easy lace background. You have 2 corner pockets, very simple, both going, you know, 2 different directions, with the tabs so they can have a little bit more width to them if you want to put more things in the pockets, in the corner pockets, than just your standard single journal card. You might be able to get 2 in there easily, knowing that you have a little bit more width. Or if you like a really tight pocket, then you cut off the tabs, and you know you're just gluing straight down on your corners. There's another so my new labels, right? We started doing some more decorative labels a couple weeks ago. So I put a couple of those more decorative labels in this kit with the colors that go with this kit. I picked up that maroony purple. I picked up the green and some browns to go through this whole thing. So there's some more labels. Some of the words that are in my word file, but I changed the colors. You only get 1 set of the 3 that I chose for this time of year. More textures, more pockets, right? The scallop pocket, just the thumbnail pocket with little critters on them. Coins, and more fussy cuts. Then I definitely did this a little differently than usual. I did my usual 4-up as 2 sets of 2. You can cut them and have 2 the similar tags throughout, or make them just a double tag folded insert and journaling space. Did the same thing with these guys, the scallops. I did a trifold mini scallop tags for something to fold in and journal in as you see fit. So I definitely put this on the inside for writing space, for easy light colored writing and not have to worry about what I printed it on. You have your 4-up journal cards, like I always do. Pick some of my favorite elements of florals and texture. They 2 can be definitely be horizontal, 2 can be vertical. I think they have room to decide in any direction. I think this is the only one that you're like, well, that definitely has to be a horizontal, but the other 3 can totally go horizontal or vertical as you see fit to, oh my gosh, what's the word? Fit to interpret it. Then you have your 6-up journal cards. I love to do. The nice little ones are fun, great colors, texture. Belly bands. Definitely made them a little shorter than usual because it's only 7 inches tall on your paper. I didn't want to give you 8.5 inch or even 10 inch long belly bands. That's a lot of weight. Not wasted, but at least you know you can cut this and it'll fit on the page pretty much as is and not have to feel like, oh, well, I have to trim something down and I have to lose maybe my favorite part, or I have to pick and choose which end of the belly band I have to cut off. Then I did do another file folder with this one, which can go direct. You can either fold it and make the file folder more of a horizontal insert, or add it to the middle of your journal and make it definitely a standard, a little bit more horizontal tabbed file folder piece, along with 2 more belly bands, give you more texture to help layer up on. Oops, and last but not least, 2 more of the 4-up journal cards because of the elements, and a slightly larger tag. I didn't do a lot of these because it is a smaller book. My usual size tag almost doesn't fit in the papers. So I did give you one. If you need to, you just always trim a smidge off the bottom if it's just a little too tall. And you have the option of a larger tag to put in the belly band, to put in a pocket, to really fill the space, especially on the back of this. You know, when you're filling it on this or in the back of the lace, you have, you know, a great contrast for this to be on center stage on that page. So Definitely a slightly smaller kit on the ephemera side, just because it is a smaller book and a lot of decoration already in the pages. I felt you may not want to do as much ephemera decorating. So kept it smaller, kept it a little easier, right? So it's a total of, what do we say? We are at a total of 24 pages. So you get 24 pages to print as you see fit, front, back, left, right, as many times as you want, of course. Okay. Falling into autumn. It's my first sort of photo art lookbook journal since the 50 Shades of Purple, which seemed very much more photogenic also in that sense. And we'll see if we continue on with this theme. But I'm really enjoying sort of the new 5x7 size that I've been sort of adding to my kits. And I figured, why not make a whole journal down to that 5x7 size, trim off the edges, do a little backing, add some ephemera, and you've got a gorgeous last hurrah to summer and little intro into fall. Okay, so these are up and running as you're watching this video. They were listed last night and are ready to go in the kit. So again, falling into autumn, 5x7 photo art lookbook. Then to go with that kit and the rest of my autumn kits, though I did put out just the other day, actually two plus, almost 3 weeks ago, we put out the 3 sheets of label journaling embellishments. So to keep on with that, my journaling labels, I did an autumn journaling label sheet. It's 1 sheet and 22 labels. This time around, you have multiple of colors that actually come from some of the coloring units of my Fanciful Fall. I pulled some colors from some of the artwork there. It will also look beautiful, I think, with the autumn foliage and floral. And of course, should go just as well because there are more neutral colors with the newest kit, right? Can go with all 3 of my autumn kits along with any of your autumn needs. We have solid color skinnies. We have some solid, semi-solid color smalls. We have plain ones with just colored borders. We have decorative. We have lined. We have dotted grid. We have graph paper grid backgrounds, lines, light florals, and cute critters. I have my favorite owl from last year, the bunny from this year, this cute little chipmunk. Just his face wasn't cute, but you had to have the tail and stuff, but he was cute in front of the flower. I have a little rose. We have some pumpkins, in spots. The flower arrangements that I had made. Things like that. So a nice little assortment. It's a little muted. I didn't want to go too solid or too bright with it. I didn't want to contrast too much with things. But the green, this is a very dark sort of harvesty, almost brick red. It's hard to tell whether it was a really dark harvest orange or whether it was more of a bricky red. But the colors came from the most shadowed areas of the pumpkin. So that was sort of cool. Even some light, creamy, buttery yellow colors that came from the flowers. So I thought it was a great mix. I was just going to do 2 colors and the colors just didn't come out right. And I was like, that doesn't look very appealing. I was like, what am I thinking? Let's give them a whole variety of colors. So autumn journaling labels, 1 sheet, 22 labels will be also up today with the other kit. One of my usual $1.25 simple, easy things. Quick sheet, take care of some of your needs, stretch your happy planner needs, stretch your layering and labeling in your journals. To just another layer to our autumn, because if you're anything like me, I do autumn for the next 3 months, September, October, and November, in everything I do. I'll get little moments of, okay, I can't take it, and my happy planner might see bright colors all of a sudden. But I enjoy autumn, and, though autumn is not until September 20th, so I'm probably going to push it and try to wait another 2 weeks before I do anything in my planners. I'm so looking forward to being able to have as many elements to do my crafts and do my organizing and do my journals when it comes to autumn. So I'm hoping this will help you guys and expand that supply that you have for your autumn needs. Now, if you made it this far and you're still watching, thank you. Really appreciate that more than you can possibly imagine. I'm letting you know that as of this weekend, coming up, of course, on the 5th? Oh my gosh, I don't know what that... Friday the 3rd. That's what I'm looking for. Friday the 3rd of September through, would it technically be 11:59 Labor Day night, which will be Monday, right before it becomes Tuesday morning. I'm doing another sale. I'm just doing a nice little quick Labor Day weekend, 10% off sale, and it will include all the new kits. Okay, 10% off all the labels, all the autumn kits, all the old autumn and seasonal kits. If you didn't get the 20% off on the older stuff, come back and try again. At least you can get 10% off the old kits, 10% off the new kits, everything in between. And even if you've been eyeballing it, 10% off the Heroes in Retro journal kit. Or journal, well, the journal kit too, but the actual book. Made the book. It's still available. Someone had it in their shopping cart, but hasn't committed to it yet. There's only one. It's a gorgeous four signature with a back, the fifth signature being sort of a pocketed ordeal. Still here, still waiting. It will also be 10% off, and I will still, through the weekend of Labor Day, pay for the shipping. After that, I may drop the price, but I won't pay for the shipping. So if you want free shipping and 10% off this gorgeous little journal, great present to give to somebody in the field who is a nurse, who's a veteran, who's a wife of a veteran. This is a great way to honor them in so many ways, to really document the memories of those who have fallen, who have served. This is still up for sale and will be on sale. So, good chance to get it. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. Really appreciate the digital. I'm going to do my best to keep on with the Journal with Me's, but with the school, we're 2 weeks in, and homeschooling is taking up a lot of time, but my daughter is learning a lot, so I can't complain. I do want to work on both my autumn journals so that you have the opportunity to purchase them in September, October. If you don't get time to this, you can't print, you're not able to enjoy my digitals. I'm really hoping that the idea of purchasing one of my autumn journals appeals to you, and I really want to get that option out to you guys, since I don't need any more autumn journals, but I definitely want to work on them. So if I get the opportunity to get in front of the camera, I will show you what I'm working on when I'm working on it. Otherwise, it'll be a journal reveal in the end before I sell it. So thank you for sticking it out and watching me. Keep an eye on Gail Gustinelli and even Lorette Chandler, a Vintage Paper Girl. You never know when they're going to fill in for me and reveal something I've created. And of course, they make beautiful work, whether it's with my things or others. So we always love supporting one another. So keep watching their YouTube channels. And I will see you guys as soon as I can see you guys. So go grab this, keep an eye on it, put it in your carts. And if nothing else, hold out till Friday and put this in your cart for 10% off. Have a great day. This is Journalin with a Jewel Design. Talk to you soon.